You know, it's very easy to be overwhelmed. It's very easy to be overwhelmed with a lot of things that are on our list of things to do and things we want to accomplish. So sometimes it's best to just take a moment and instead of looking at that big picture, to focus in on the small. Focus in on the small steps, the baby steps you can take in order to get to that goal. Because the whole point is to work towards the goal and always move forward and always be in movement or taking steps towards that goal. Even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't know how everything is going to come together, it's best to take what you can and do what you can in the meantime. You know, when I moved out to LA, so I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast and I drove out. And then my living situation didn't really work out too good. It didn't work out too fine. What I did was I didn't have any money. I had a car, so I would drive around and I would take the little penny savers. That's what they were called at the time, little penny savers. It's just little, periodicals that you could find in those little street machines, that had the newspapers. You pull it down, you put it in a quarter or whatever. But these were free. Long story short, I would look through the periodicals, the little penny saver, and I would basically look for apartments. Now, I didn't have any money whatsoever, but my thing was that I at least wanted to look because I wanted to be in the process. I at least wanted to start the process and at least be on the path of expectation. So I did find an apartment, seemed halfway decent and whatever. And when I went to the appointment, I called them up, say, hey, I want to see this apartment. They said, good, yada, yada, yada. So I, again, with no money, I parked my little car and I walked up and he didn't answer the door because you had to be buzzed in. So he didn't answer the door. So I said, oh, okay. But right when I was about to turn around and leave, someone was coming out of the building. So I took that opportunity and went in while he was coming out. So still the manager wasn't on the premises, so I'm just there in the lobby. So I look around and there's not much to see because it's just the lobby. And again, as soon as I turned around, I think I was looking at one of the pictures on the wall or whatever. That's when the manager came out. So I said, look at this, look at the time and everything. So I introduced myself and I said, hey, I'm the one with the appointment. I'm the one who called. He said, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. And whatever he said, I don't remember exactly. So he showed me the apartment and I fell in love with it. Again, no money. So I fell in love with it and I said, hey, I'm about to go back to Philadelphia. I want this apartment. When will it be ready? He said, well, another one will be ready at such and such, because I think he showed me one that was already occupied, but it was going to come up soon. So I said, listen, I want the apartment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to blah, 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 and I will send you the check. I need your address and this and that. Just making sure that he knew how serious I was about this place, this little apartment. Oh, it was just the cutest little thing. It had wood wall. It was like a little cabin because it was all wood, but it was just right for me. It was a little studio, but it had a big closet, honey, and it had a nice, nice little cute little kitchen, whatever. But it was just right for me. You know what I mean? And it would get me, it would put a roof over my head and help me to, again, pursue what I wanted to pursue in LA, in California. Long story short, we just came to an agreement that apartment would be mine. Went back home. When I say went back home, I drove back to Philadelphia. Okay, so we're talking about 2.5 days, something like that. Anyway, so I drove back to Philadelphia, and when I tell you, now I had something in my mind. I had something to work towards. I found a job. I kept in contact with the guy. I said, hey, I got this money together. I slowly got the money together, sent it out to him. It didn't take me a long time. And I ended up getting the apartment. I came back out, got the apartment. And so I stepped out on faith. I stepped out on faith on that one because, again, I didn't have any money, but I wanted to act as if I did. And I remember saying that to myself. I don't have anything right now to give, but if I had the money, what would I be looking at? What would I be doing? Where would I want to live? How would I want to go about this? And that's exactly what I did. I stepped out on faith and I saw it, and the timing was perfect. Because again, if I hadn't gone when I had gone, if I hadn't have looked, I wouldn't have found it. in the first place. And once I made the appointment, if I had left because nobody had answered the door, I wouldn't have gotten in. So being that I did wait and I got in, again, if I had left right then and there as well, I wouldn't have met the manager. We wouldn't have had a conversation. I wouldn't have seen the apartment. I wouldn't have fell in love with it. And I wouldn't have had it to go back to once I went to the East Coast. And even on top of that, once I got out there and he came through on his side and I signed on the dotted line, about a week or two after that, the manager passed away. Unfortunately, he passed away. So even in the timing of that, if something would have happened to him before I had gotten there, there was nothing in writing. So they could have easily given the apartment away. The one that was promised to me, had he passed away before I had gotten there, then I would have been stuck. Because again, it wasn't in writing. So yeah, the timing of that and stepping out on faith, everything lined up. Everything sort of came together. That's because I stepped out on faith. I trusted the timing of what was going on. And I decided to take small steps instead of being overwhelmed with the big. You know what I mean? I acted as if I had money, even though I didn't. And in me doing that, therefore, I could plan around that. And that's exactly what I did. So I say all that to say, sometimes you have to take baby steps, even if you don't know all the answers, like I said earlier. And it's good to employ faith, okay? Because a lot of stuff, you may not see it. You may not see it happening. You may not feel it happening. But you have to have faith in what you're doing, that it's going to come to pass, especially if you've been promised this. If God said that it's for you, then it's for you. As well as, do not get overwhelmed by what you don't know, what you're not able to see. Because it's very easy for us to feel thwarted in our efforts. It's very easy for us to feel discouraged, especially when we're about to embark on things that we've never done before, that we've never experienced before, that we've never tried. Maybe it's a new business. Maybe it's a new company that we just started with. A lot of us have big dreams, but along with those big dreams, I don't want you to give up your big expectations, because it can be done. You have to have faith in what is going on, faith in what you have prayed for, that it will come to fruition. And in doing so, taking the baby steps instead of looking at the whole big picture, the whole big thing. You know, just like when you sit down for a meal, most people, they don't just stuff their face with the whole piece. Whether it be a piece of pizza or a steak or whatever, usually cut it up, or at least take a bite. You at least cut it up so you can consume it in a proper way. So it's a little bit more palatable, so it doesn't overwhelm our system, so we don't choke. Yeah, the same thing with these pursuits. A lot of times when you think of things and it's something new, something that you've never endeavored upon before, sometimes it's best to take a step back and take care of what you can take care of, and take the baby steps so you can eventually work towards your goal. I don't want anyone to get discouraged. I don't want you to feel underwater. I don't want you to feel that you are out of your element to the point where there's nothing that you can do. Have faith in your abilities. Have faith in the dream and the passion of your pursuit. Focus in on the small and in what you can do so you can get to the big and see your goal come to fruition. I want you to stay encouraged and stay on the path towards your dreams, because you got things to do. You have a calling on your life. You have a passion in your heart. I need you to pursue it. Trust the process. Trust the timing. And when things look a little too big to accomplish, don't let that thwart you. Take a moment. Take a breath. You take that big and you compartmentalize it into small steps that you can take towards your goal. And before you know it, you're going to accomplish just that. You're going to have exactly what you prayed for. You're going to have exactly what you've been working for. Believe it. And with that, we are going to put a button on it.